talk about backpacking food on a budget today, and Stephen and I went to the local grocery store where we actually quickly found out that you're not allowed to film inside, so you're gonna miss the shopping experience. We couldn't do that, but we went in just like we would normally do and grab whatever food that you would find in your normal local grocery store that was relatively inexpensive. So as far as backpacking food goes, first rule of thumb, you wanna be at 100 calories per ounce. I used to be a little bit more of a stickler about that, meaning everything I had was over 100 calories an ounce. Now I'm just looking for, as a whole, for the entire day that I am, either meeting or exceeding 100 calories per ounce. So again, 100 calories per ounce. For my fat ass, I'm gonna be 32 to 3,500 calories per day, and I wanna be over 100 calories per ounce. So I wanna be at 2 pounds per day or less, and I wanna be between $12 and $15 per day. So when you're talking about that, if you're at 100 calories per ounce, there's 16 ounces per pound. So 3,200 calories is 2 pounds per day. So I would much rather be at 26 to 28 ounces, so less than 2 pounds per day. And I would really like to be at 3,200 plus calories per day. And we're gonna be able to do that with this just because I've done it enough. The next thing, we didn't put any real effort into this other than just walking through the grocery store. There was no pre-planned. I didn't order anything on Amazon. I didn't go to any backpacking store. I didn't get anything super crazy lightweight, like some of the different, I don't know, moon cheeses and shit, and like the spaceship ice cream stuff. I used to get that. I just don't anymore. It's not really needed, and again, it's really expensive. So the one thing I will say, Peak Refuel is really good, and they have multiple different flavors. Everything they have is amazing, but like one of these dinners is 15 bucks for one of the dinners. I'm not saying it's not worth that, but if you're on a budget, these things are just not an option if you're doing many different trips or many days, or you're just on a budget for one 7-day trip. So I'm gonna set this aside, and as I say, talk about Peak Refuel. I love Peak Refuel. I use it whenever I can. This is just going to be, again, what you can buy in a grocery store. So the next thing is we're figuring out for 6 nights and 7 days of food. 7 days is pretty average for anybody that's gonna come out west and go backpack hunting. I personally can eat the exact same thing every day. So as we're going through this, what will happen is I'm going to just end up with 1 day of food on the table by the time it's said and done. And then what I'll have is in that 1 day will be in a gallon container, a gallon Ziploc bag. And so I will have 7 of those, or 10 or 14 or whatever, for how many days I'm going. And they're generally pretty much the exact same thing. It just doesn't bother me to do that. Other than that, some of the other things we'll cover: cook systems, like a cook kit. I'm gonna cover a few things on that as far as what you might be cooking and what cook system might be better for that, and as well as pre-workout, my caffeine for the day, how I mix that up, and then how I separate things, put them in Ziploc bags. You'll see all of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and move a lot of this stuff off the table, sit my big ass down, and start going over dinners first. So I'm gonna be working on dinners now. Again, you can go really expensive and get pre-made dinners, but this is like what's worked for me in the past. I'll be writing things down. When I say writing things down, I'm gonna jot down numbers and say them out loud, talking about as far as calories per ounce. For the top ramen, I've got a couple types here. This is the Evo, and it is basically tuna and olive oil. And then for the Idahoan potatoes, I actually use bacon bits. If you're a firm believer and you read the Bible a lot, Deuteronomy, I think it's 14:8, says you're not really supposed to fuck with swine, so bacon may not be the best protein source for you. But either way, that's what I put in the Idahoan, so I'll kind of explain how I do this. Okay, so we're gonna do the ramen first. So this is just the standard top ramen that most college kids live off of, and construction workers, believe me, I know. It's not overly healthy. This is supposed to be a little bit healthier. You can get like brown rice ramen. This is Mike's Mighty Good brisket beef ramen made with organic noodles. So it's supposed to be healthier. So right now, just reading the label, I've got 2.2 ounces for the weight, and I've got 250 calories for this. So I'm already over my 100 calories per ounce. And then with this olive oil tuna packet, I am at 180 calories for one pouch, and I know this won't quite make it, and I'm at 2.6 ounces. What I could do is I could take the olive oil tuna packet out of this, or the tuna out, and put it in a Ziploc bag, and then add it all together. I don't do that. I'm not quite that anal retentive, because both of these combined does put me at the 100 calorie per ounce thing. And that's what I had talked about before. You can get other protein sources as well. So easy enough. I've got Evo tuna packets, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 nights. And then I've got right here the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comes in a pack of 6. This is an extra I had at the house. This is a healthier version. So I'm gonna leave just one up here, set this aside. So I've got 1 tuna packet and 1 ramen, or this, either way. So now we're going to be looking at the 4 cheese, really unhealthy Idahoan potatoes. They have a bunch of different types of these. The 4 cheese is just my favorite. So back here, there's 4 servings per container, and it's 110 calories per serving. So if you eat this whole bag, which pretty much any person I know does, you're at 400 plus calories. And this bad boy weighs 4 ounces. So I'm over my 400 calories. So what I do with this wrapper's not really, I'm not really digging. I don't like this wrapper. And how you reconstitute this, you just take boiling water, pour it in this, mix it up in a separate container. So what I do is I'm going to take this Ziploc bag, and putting boiling water in this Ziploc, it can handle it. I've been doing it for years. I'm going to open up my Idahoans here. Sound effects help. Okay, so now I've got 4 servings of Idahoans in there. There's all kinds of, look, see, it says no artificial flavors, no artificial dyes, and it's gluten-free. So I got a lot of things going for me on those Idahoans. I really don't even know if I want to read the ingredients of this shit. Probably not. It's fine. Okay, so I've got 1 thing of Idahoans. That is 440 calories in 4 ounces. Nailed it. I'm going to set these aside. So this is potentially 4 dinners if you want it. Now I'm going to open the real bacon from Kroger. On the back of this, I'm going to need my calculator. We've got 81 servings in here. That's a lot of pig. And it's 30 calories per serving. So 2,430 calories in this whole bag. I could just eat this all day for 1 day. And we are at 20 ounces total. So I'm 24, so I'm over 100 calories per ounce. So now what I'm going to do is open this bad boy up. And there is, oh, that smells good. How much protein? So there's 2 grams of protein per 30 calories. Not the best option in the world, but we're on a budget here. So what I could do if I was an adult and I really wanted to be careful, I've got a grain scale here. Well, it does multiple different things, but either way, I could take like my measuring container, and then add that, figure out the weight. I'm not going to do any of that. I really don't care. So I'm just going to grab a handful of this. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'll just pour some in. Sound effects again. Okay. That is going to be delicious. I would imagine that's got to be 4 servings. I would guess that's a lot of bacon. So that's 120 calories of bacon in there, give or take. And then I've got, so that's going to be probably 10 grams of protein roughly. Again, not too worried about it. So now I smush this down and I've got one potential dinner right there. That is a lot of bacon in there. You can mix this whole thing in this bag and it'll be fine and reconstitute it. So that's really my dinners. I'm gonna have one or the other of that. Meaning I'm either gonna have ramen or I'm gonna have Idahoans with bacon. The ramen will be with tuna. One thing I will mention, depending upon when you're cooking, if you're using something like an MSR reactor or one of like the systems, a jet boil or whatever, and you're making Idahoans in your actual cook pot or you're making tuna in there specifically, that makes it to have some funny tasting coffee the next day, right? Because you're not mixing it in a separate container. You certainly can, but what you may want to do so your coffee doesn't taste like Badussi is have a system like this. So this is an ever new cook set and I've got two of them. So I've got two cook sets in here. So what I do is, I got a little hanky. This is a Soto Windmaster stove, and this is the lighter, not base for it. These are the lighter prongs or whatever for the pot to go on. This is actually my super ultra lightweight setup when I just bring one pot. But either way, I've got that, boom, and I've got this for my ramen or my Idahoans or whatever else. And ramen and Idahoans with that mixed flavors, no problem. This is for my coffee in the morning. I know that's a big pot, but it doesn't weigh hardly anything. And so if you're going to use a system like I'm talking about, you may want to look at a couple super lightweight titanium pots or one of the Fazzo's foldable bowls, something like that for your coffee. But again, when you're boiling the water, you really don't want to be boiling something where you had tuna, ramen, or whatever else in it. So this two-pot system works really well. It's lightweight. It's still well under a pound with everything I have in here, which is great. Well, minus the fuel. So this is a very good system for backpacking when it comes to weight savings for dinner. So there's a ton of other stuff you can use for dinners. You can dehydrate your own meals. You can do things like that. But for running in the grocery store on the way to a trailhead, this is an awesome, it's great choices, great food, tastes great, very inexpensive. One thing that I forgot to mention when I was going over dinners that I like to do is, especially when you get started with this, I don't do this anymore, but I used to. So right now I'm gonna drop these in my gallon Ziploc bag because this is gonna be my full day of food by the time I'm done. So right now I've got 180 calories in my tuna. And I've got 370 calories in my ramen, so 370, 470, 570, 550. So 550 calories. So on my bag, I'm just gonna write down dinner and then 570. This just keeps me honest so I'm not off on my total calories per day. So, and then this one over here, I've got 440 calories in my Idahoans. And then in the bacon, I'm figuring 120 calories. So 440, 540, 550, 560, 560 calories. Yeah, I did that right. So dinner, 560. So that is not horrible to have for a dinner, 560 calories. If you wanted to make it a little bit more, obviously here I could add tuna. I could add tuna to the Idahoans and do whatever. You can get crazy with it, whatever, but write that shit down so you don't forget. Okay, now we're gonna do kind of the midday snack. And this is something, many people have done this, but for my daughter and I came up with the name butthole sandwich for these. I'll tell the story at a different time. But this is going to be a bagel with bacon, peanut or almond butter, and honey. This is high in calories. It's also heavy, but you're looking at like something that weighs 7 ounces is going to be 900 to 1,000 calories, depending upon what you pile on there. So you can pre-cook your bacon yourself, right? This was, again, literally going into the grocery store. We didn't have any food. We had to go backpacking, so we bought everything. So I have fully pre-cooked bacon. This does probably kill you faster than bacon, normal bacon. Like this pre-cooked stuff's probably even unhealthier for you, but whatever, we'll be fine. So The bacon, let's see here. So the serving size is 2 slices and it's 70 calories. Who would put 2 slices of bacon on anything? That's bullshit. It should be double that, right? So I'm gonna put 4 slices of bacon per butthole sandwich. And then, so you're at 140 calories, and I'm gonna write this down for the bacon. All right, and then we've got really, really healthy, I'm just kidding you, Thomas's Bagels. And this bagel is 270 calories for the bagel. And so we've got 270. Now, these bagels, when you're figuring out the weight, we're going to see, this is 1 pound, 4 ounces, 6 serving, 270 calories. So I could do the math really quick, and I'll do that. So if we've got 270, and then multiply that by 6, so that's 1,620 calories for all these bagels. So we're going to be under 100 calories per ounce. So we're at 16 ounces, so 1 pound, 4 ounces. So we're at 20 ounces total. So we're going to be slightly under 100 calories per ounce with these bagels. But don't worry, because we're going to make up with that with peanut butter with the 100 calories per ounce. And again, like I said, you certainly can get bagels with a higher caloric intake or higher calories per ounce. But this will be fine for what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to twist this up and put the bread tie on because I always do that. That's a total lie. I never do that shit. I just roll it under the bottom. So now this for 2 tablespoons is 190 calories. So I'm certainly going to put at least double that on here. So we're going to say 380 calories at least for the 380 for the peanut butter. So right now we are going to be at 15. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 plus calories for one butthole sandwich. And again, you can certainly, oh, that's not going to come apart very easy. You can certainly up that pretty dang easy. Pretty simple. And I'm definitely going to exceed 380 calories on my peanut butter on here. That's probably 700 calories in peanut butter. All right, so we got that. Easy enough. And this is literally the bottom of the barrel, cheapest shit you can buy, the Jif. You can get a lot natural or a lot more healthier natural peanut butter. This is extra crunchy because that's what I like. But when you compare this to like Justin's peanut butter is 4 times more expensive. We'll go into that here in a minute because peanut butter is definitely, and almond butter is a main staple of my backpacking food. So, oh, you son of a bitch. This is raw, which I think is important nowadays. Every time I buy raw honey, I feel like I should move to Aspen. Okay. And then we have the bacon. Well, look at all that bacon. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slices on each layer. So I can do 2 sandwiches with that amount. So I thought I was going to do 4 slices, so I'm going to do 5. So it'll up the caloric intake. Pretty simple. Bend that biatch in half. Sound effects help. Squirt this wonderful raw honey, and I haven't figured out the raw honey calories, but it's a crap load too. I'm sure that's on here. So there's 60 calories per tablespoon. Ooh, yeah, I'm well over. I'm just gonna say probably 180 calories right now in honey, maybe more. And honey's never bad. This is not the diet that's going to get you losing weight, right? So um, now I just squeeze that on there. And if you food savor this, where the butthole sandwich came from, that when you put this in a food saver, as it sucks the air out of it, this ends up looking like a butthole. And that's where the butthole sandwich came from. My daughter came home when she was younger. When I say I had partial custody, and so she always helped me get my food together for the season. So we would do 60, 80, 120 days worth of food. And I wonder if I can fit that in a sandwich bag. I probably could have. And when we did that, that was along the same time as Limp Bizkit came out with that record, Chocolate Starfish. And her mom did not tell her what a chocolate starfish was, so she asked me, and me being the super cool dad, I said, Kaylee, it's your butthole. I said, if you don't believe me, go look in the mirror, which she did. She came back, she's like, you're right, Dad. So later that day, we were doing all the caloric intake, kilocalories, macros, all that stuff, explaining it to her. And she wanted to run the food saver where you put the little bag in, hit the button, and it sucks all the oxygen out. So she was watching it. She was like, Dad, it's a chocolate starfish. That's where the term butthole sandwich came out with. So right now, like I had said, over 700 calories. With the honey, I'm probably at 800 and some calories. And right now, I'll go ahead and weigh this. So I've got to do the conversion for this. So we are at 2,000 grains. And we are going to see how many ounces that is. My internet is not great. See how that's, when that loads, we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so that is 4.571 ounces. So we'll just round up and say 5 ounces, and we're at 800 calories. That's give or take, but again, that is an amazing midday snack right there. The butthole sandwich, so peanut butter or almond butter, bacon, honey, and you can really get a healthier bagel than we got. But again, straight to the grocery store, grab what we can have. The only thing I would say, like with this, depending the bacon, I know this bacon will last a very long time, which is probably why it gives you cancer in California. In the field, you don't have to worry about that shit going bad. I've never gotten sick from even 7 days of having these in my pack. I mean, I don't leave them in the fucking sun, but I mean, you definitely can last a while. You could get the really thick sliced bacon and cook it yourself, do the same thing. But again, we just in the store bought it and left. So either way, 7, 8, 900 calories, 5, 6 ounces, great midday snack. Now we're on to breakfast. So we're kind of doing it backwards. I'm bouncing all over the place because I have ADD like a motherfucker. So today, no, I'm just kidding. So with breakfast, I generally don't eat breakfast like wake up and eat and take off. Mostly because that shit will come back up if I have a bad climb. So my breakfast is generally, I'll just pretend like I'm fasting, but really I just don't want to puke. So I will have a breakfast ready for after we hike in, or I get to a glassing point if I'm looking for deer. And sometimes it really just depends. I'll have to pack a stove if I'm doing oatmeal. So sometimes I'll do granola and like protein powder. That's another breakfast I could go over. This is oatmeal, so this is heated. So if the calories are about the same, meaning if you do like granola and mix like sliced cashews or almonds, sliced almonds and cranberries, you end up with basically the same thing I have now. One just has hot water. So as I say all that, when I do oatmeal, if I'm going to eat it in the morning or I'm going to pack it in with me, I do cold oats. I pour water in this the night before, and it reconstitutes or rehydrates overnight. I put that in my pack, so once I've hiked in, when I get there, I eat it. It's reconstituted. It's not dehydrated anymore, but it's cold. It works great. So if you don't want to pack a stove with you, you don't have to pack a stove with you. Just put the water in the night before, and it works just fine. So as far as my mixture, this is Quaker 12-gram protein per serving oatmeal, and it's 200 calories per packet. So That's a shitload of calories per packet, considering we're looking at just over 2 ounces. Wait, I'm figuring that out wrong. It's 12 ounces for all of these. So yeah, we're still over. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so got a little dyslexia there. That's not true. I'm from Oregon. I'm just not very good at math. Actually, I'm pretty good at math. So I'm going to do 2 packets. And so I need to be writing this down. So we are at, with 2 packets, 440 calories. So this is a big breakfast. 440 calories. So I will put these in a Ziploc bag. I do that with most everything, especially if I'm going to put boiling water in there and I don't want to, use one of my cook pots or whatever. Okay. So there's more than enough protein and calories in this without doing anything else. But a lot of times what I'll do, because I love honey, I'm going to squirt honey in there. I'm not going to do that now because I'm not going to eat this shit for a while. I'm going to squirt honey in there ahead of time, and the Ziploc bag will keep it from making a mess. And what I might also do, and I say I might, I'm going to do it, is I'm going to take a big ass scoop of peanut butter and throw it in there as well. That's if I'm going to boil the water. Meaning, or you know what I mean, if I'm going to boil it, because the peanut butter is going to be real chunky. If you do cold oats, you're just going to end up with a big chunk of shit in the middle of your cold oats. It doesn't mix up well. But with the heat of the water and you do it, it works well. So a few different options. So right now, this is going to be cold oats, not boiled. So I'm going to leave the peanut butter out of it. I've got 440 calories just in that alone. Now I'm going to take craisins, because I really like those, and I actually pack these around throughout the course of the day, and I'm going to throw some craisins in there as well. These things have a fuckload of sugar in them. This is actually, I didn't get no I did, 50% less sugar, and this shit still has 12 grams of sugar per serving, and there's 14 servings in this and about a quarter cup. A lot of sugar, but you're working it off. You're hiking all the time or whatever else. So I'm just going to open this, grab a handful of craisins, throw that in there. Again, this is for hot oatmeal or cold oatmeal. The peanut butter would be if I'm going to boil and eat it in the morning or have my stove, if I add the peanut butter. If you want to take just granola, do the exact same thing. Put granola in there, sliced almonds, throw craisins in there. But by the time it's said and done, you're going to be around 600 calories at a minimum by the time it's finished. And you're going to have about 125 calories per ounce. I've done this enough with the breakfast, I know. 125 calories per ounce for your breakfast. So a lot of calories and not that much weight. In this case, I think this is 24 grams of protein in this. So again, if you want to boil water, you like it in the morning or whatever, this is a great option. Just get standard granola, mix that up. The one thing I would say is if you're doing granola, use protein powder for your milk substitute. So take a big ass scoop of protein powder, throw it in there with your granola, put your craisins in there, your sliced almonds, whatever you need to do. Then you just add water, mix that up, and then you've got whatever 30 grams of protein just from that scoop of protein alone. So I'm going to leave this just like it is. I'm not going to add all that stuff to it. But again, about 600 plus calories. You're about 125 calories per ounce. Very inexpensive. Oatmeal doesn't cost shit. Granola is super cheap. You can buy it in bulk, so it's a great, great option. Midday snacks. So we already went over the butthole sandwich, but that's generally not going to be enough to tide me over throughout the course of the day. And again, I'm trying to hit 3,200 calories per day. We just figured out the breakfast. I was kind of winging it when I was talking about it, but we're actually at about 750 calories for breakfast. So right now we're at 21 to 2,200 calories total with the food I have in this bag so far. So I'm a big fan of peanut butter, as I talked about before, but I also will take bars with me. The 2 primary bars I take are the Metrex Big 100 chocolate chip cookie dough bar. It looks healthy. It's not really healthy, but that little bastard is like 480 calories for 3+ ounces. So that is an option. They didn't have the flavor I liked at the grocery store, but you can buy those at the gas station. So That bar is going to be 400 to 450 calories, give or take. I think it's 410, but we'll say 400. These are Bobo bars. I've eaten these little fuckers so much, I can't really stomach them too much anymore. I mean, I'll eat them, don't get me wrong. If I'm hungry, I'll definitely, munch down with them. But this is 380 calories, if I remember correctly. 360. So there's 180 calories per serving, and there's 2 servings in this. So what did I say? 360. So that's 360 calories for one of these. I'm going to write that down. And again, the metrics is 400, but either way, around 400 calories for my bar. After you figure out the bar, with the peanut butter side of things, the Justin's like almond butter and peanut butter, these little packets. These packets are really good. They're kind of expensive. They're $1 something per packet. There's 200 calories per packet. So I will, again, I mean, you already see I have a lot of peanut butter. I'll eat 2 or 3 of these in a day. So I'm going to be 2 or 3, so that's 600 calories at the most per day. They sell these at the grocery store, but they are expensive. So another option, and you can get pretty crazy with this. When I say pretty crazy, if you're okay with just squirting crap in your mouth like honey, you can get those little honey packets. You can find them at grocery stores. You can order them on Amazon. They're extremely inexpensive. So what you can do is buy this, and I think, how much was this thing? Where's my receipt? Huh? $1.99, and I'm glad Steven has a good memory. 5 ounces, and there are 4, so 190. So what's the one night? So we are looking at 800, 780, let's see, 760 calories, good Lord, for this entire packet at 5 ounces. So this would be something I would eat throughout the course of the day, and I have. You just unscrew it and squirt it in your mouth. If you want to add flavor to it, easy enough. You can squirt some honey in there. You can also actually open this, squeeze this down, and pour honey in this bastard. So I guess I'll just show you that. John Pinch kind of showed me this. So that looks full, right? But it's not. Look how much room they screw you out of. Look at that. So you blow on that bad boy. These are the things you learn when you're broke as shit trying to go backpack hunting. And then squirt that in there. You got to wait a little bit. One thing that you can do is just put the honey in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds, and it becomes a lot thinner. But pour that in there. And as that kind of works its way down, I'll just keep pumping that in there, or I'll blow it in. There we go. I am sure there's going to be some fucked up memes from me blowing on this thing. All right, so you get the point. I can fit quite a bit more in there. Okay, so good enough. Squeeze the air out of there. So now I'm just kind of knead that around. And believe me, if it heats up, it's going to do it anyway. You don't want all just to squirt straight. Well, maybe you want to if you like honey. Squirt straight honey in your mouth, but mix that around. And now I have peanut butter and honey in that packet. Extremely cheap. You said this was $1 something? $1.99 for this. And again, if I would have heated this up, or if you're driving, just put it in the freaking dashboard. This will heat up. You can do that on the trailhead before you take off. So that's another really good snack. This was, I think, 60 calories. So I'm just going to say we're going to put 2 of these. So that's 120 calories there. And then we are at holy cow. So we're at 760, 860, 960, 980. Thank you. No, it'd be 940, wouldn't it? We'll just say 950. So 60 times, so 120. So 760, 860, 960, 950, 940. 940, fuck. That's so 940 calories in this. Sorry about the math, people. 940 calories. As far as like the macros in this, you know, there's not the best diet in the world, but you got 7 grams, 14, so 28 grams of protein in this, so not horrible. And again, mix it around and you're ready to go. So I've got, right now, we are looking at, with that snack, we got 550 plus 800, 360, 940. So at 3,400 calories right here. That is a crap load of calories as far as weight goes. Let me see if I can weigh this on here. So with this right here, we are at 21 ounces. So we far exceeded the 100 calories per ounce. I'd probably go through, that almost seems too good to believe, but either way, a little bit of redneck reasoning, we've close enough. We have far over 100 calories per ounce. Right now, money-wise, we'll break that down here in a minute as far as what this cost is total. But right now, as a guess, I'm looking at 14 bucks for the day, but we'll get that exact here in a minute. So now I'm going to go into my caffeine intake, branched chain amino acids, things like that. This is going to be the electrolyte, branched chain amino acid, caffeine intake for the day. As I say that, I almost forgot this thing. Here, this is branched chain amino acids. So most people get tired of drinking straight water. So, you know, something like this, which doesn't really give you much for electrolytes, but this is a healthier drink mix. This is True Lemon Strawberry Lemonade. I'll generally have a few of these with me throughout the course of the day. I'll have like a titanium water bottle or a Nalgene. The Nalgenes are kind of heavy, but I'm going to need to have some type of water bottle. This is what I use for like every day. This is from Grizzly. They're a little bit heavy. They're not really built for backpacking, basically, is what it is. You can use them, but you generally go for something a little bit lighter. Like this is a titanium bottle from Boundless Voyage. Like Vargo makes one, and then of course you can use a Nalgene bottle, use whatever you want. So obviously you're going to need something to mix this in. I would not suggest to do it in a bladder because that shit gets funky in the bladder. So starting off with coffee. Whatever single serve packet coffees you can get. I generally, you know, I used to use Starbucks quite a bit. I've kind of tried to stay away from Starbucks. This is Cafe Bustelo. There's 6, I think, in here. Is there 6 or 8? Yep, there's 6 in here. So I, at one point in time, mixed hot cocoa in my coffee. You can buy like powder creamer or whatever else, but what I've started doing, and I do this at home, is the LMNT. This is the chocolate caramel. So they have chocolate, they have caramel, they have chocolate caramel. Do not mix a full one of these in your coffee. It is fucking strong. So you want to take one of these, cut it in half at least, and put half of this in with one of your packets, and it'll give it kind of a mocha flavor, and then you get some electrolytes in it because of the LMNT. So if you drink coffee in the morning and you're a caffeine addict, I would say put 2 of these bastards in there, but you're going to have caffeine here or coffee, and then this is going to be kind of your creamer, mocha, or hot cocoa or whatever to make it taste like a mocha. So this is a great combo and a great option. Right there. I personally don't make coffee every morning. It depends on my water availability. So if I don't have water, or water is at a premium, I just slam pre-workout. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to slam some right now to show you how I do it. It's pretty simple. It's kind of varsity. So you definitely don't want to do this in the field without practicing, because the powder can come out your nose. So you just take the scoop of pre-workout. And you slam that shit like a man. It also wakes you up because it's pretty powerful. So that was like half a scoop. So that's 140 milligrams of caffeine. So that's one way to do it. I've been on a lot of sheep hunts and mule deer hunts where water was at a premium. So even though the caffeine and everything dehydrates you, which is kind of counterintuitive, slam that. You don't need that much water to do it. But what I like to do in the morning is I will take one of these electrolyte drink mixes as well as one of these mixed together. in one of these and then just drink it throughout the course of the morning as I'm hiking up if I don't just slam it. There's a few different ways you could do this. I know some guys that'll take like a liquid IV, an Apex Nutrition LMNT drink mix, something like that, as well as maybe one of these, or pre-workout, branched chain amino acids, and you can get much smaller Ziploc bags than this. You can get the little drug dealer ones, and then mix it all together in that ahead of time, and then just pour that in your Nalgene. That's an option. These are ProTech single serve drink mixes. These work really well, really good as well. It just depends on what you're trying to do. These right here are like a little bit less expensive. It's called Hydrant in comparison to liquid IV. These were what, about half the price? Yeah, with no sugar, and the shit that doesn't have sucralose in there, so that's good. It doesn't have sucralose, so I won't get cancer in California. So again, I don't really pay attention to the weight or the calories on this. I don't care. I need electrolytes, and I need caffeine. I personally, throughout the course of the day, I need around 250 milligrams. I want in the morning, and I'm probably going to do something like that around noon to 2 o'clock. I don't have to, but if I'm feeling sluggish in the afternoon or whatever, I'm definitely going to just slam it. So if you're going to do the slamming thing, pill bottles work great to pour pre-workout into a pill bottle and just kind of guess your caffeine intake. The Nun containers, those little tubes, that works great. You can use Ziploc bags, the little square ones, and then keep that with you. But honestly, when I backpack in, I'll get a lightweight container and I'll just take 2 scoops per day. So if I'm on 10 days, I'm going to do 20 scoops. I'm going to add a few, mostly because my buddies borrow it from me on a lightweight container. I generally don't do that in a Ziploc bag. I've had mice and pack rats and shit get in my caffeine, and they're running around like spider monkeys all fucked up, and then I don't have any caffeine, so I try to use a harder container for that. But this is pretty much what I use. Again, I don't have any Apex Nutrition or Deadshot Nutrition. I've used their drink mixes before, and these are just good to make your water taste not like water. If you just helps with consuming it, you want to be at 120 calories per ounce, you want to be at 100 ounces to 120 ounces a day on a backpack hunt at a minimum. So you need to be just pounding water. And again, electrolyte mix is important. And I kind of went over how I do my caffeine. We added everything up. Again, some of this is like a little bit of redneck arithmetic, because obviously the exact amount of honey we put in everything else, but it's pretty close. So when you look at this, the ramen packets are 25 cents for the cheaper ones, and the tuna is $1.99. So you're at $2.50 for the dinner. When you look at the bacon and potatoes, it's $1.50 for the Idahoan potatoes. We kind of rounded up, but we're putting about $1 worth of bacon in each one if you put a lot of bacon. So again, $2.50. So $2.50 for the dinners. As you go down, the Jif is $1.99. The Bobo bar is $2.50. The oatmeal is about $3 by the time you've got everything, into it, $3 to $4. And then the bagel's about $2.50 with everything you have into that. So you're at $13 to $14 for about 3,400 plus calories a day. Quite a bit cheaper than when you buy the very expensive backpacking food. We're well over 100 calories an ounce. It's all right here. The only thing, again, is if I was going to add anything, to the oatmeal would be in there. We did figure out that for weight and price. I just didn't want to put in there because I'm not going to eat this. I didn't want to waste it. One other thing we didn't mention, things like mangoes. I love mangoes, so like dried mangoes is not going to be this is 140 calories per serving, 5 to 6 pieces per serving, and you're at a total, this is 16 ounces, so you're about 100 calories per ounce, give or take a little bit more on the mangoes. That's something you can definitely add into your food. I just take those, put them in a Ziploc bag. Again, that goes with me throughout the course of the day. So what it looks like when I'm done is, get this thing open. I just drop all this stuff inside for each day. And then I've got my drink mixes, and I actually will end up probably putting these in my pack. I got a couple liquid IVs. The coffee will go in here. But when I leave for the day, meaning I'm leaving my camp, the coffee's going to be gone, obviously, because I'm going to drink that before I leave. So that gets pulled out, and then my dinner gets pulled out, and then I just take this bag with me throughout the day. Then I have a trash container to put everything in as needed. And I know some people don't like this, but if you end up burning your trash, this all burns, which is super nice. But that goes with me throughout the day. That's my food no matter what. On easier days, I might eat a little bit less. On harder days, I may take, when I've eaten less on easier days, I'll save that food and then, maybe eat a little bit more on the harder days. But I try to pretty much eat everything each day, no matter what. And again, we are under $15 per day easily. And most dehydrated dinners are $15 by themselves. So very good way to be go backpack hunting on a budget where you don't have to stress about adding a ton of money for food and maybe spend it on something else.